So I am here with an American treasure. I mean, she's just the GOAT. There's really no introduction for you, Ann Wilson, for me, because of course, I mean, look, this is me. This is my world, my life, the soundtrack of my life. There's no real way to kind of introduce you to WDHA fans, except that it is Ann Wilson. And I'm so grateful to have you joining me today. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I'm always blown away every time I talk to you. And especially with this record. This record I mentioned to you is a gift. You and your band Tripsitter have put together just a dynamite storytelling journey record called Another Door. And I think your writing on this record, the storytelling, is just completely off the charts amazing. It came out, I guess maybe about 5 weeks ago or something, end of September for the record. And when I first put it on, I just didn't know where we were going on this journey.
Right.
The first track that opened it up, Tripsitter, did not prepare me for the rest of the record. So talk to me a little bit about your band and about putting this amazing record together.
Okay. Well, during the pandemic, I had a lot of time to write, because we were in lockdown. And so I had a bunch of demos that I wanted to develop. So I called my friend Vince Gill, and asked him to be the musical director on that. He couldn't do it, but he said, hire this guy, Tom Vukovac. So I hired Tom, and I told Tom, go out and find musicians that you really like and bring them back, and we'll do this. So he brought a bunch of guys who turned out to be the Tripsitter guys. They weren't Tripsitter back then. They were friends of his and really great top-of-the-line studio players in Nashville. But all of them had one thing in common, and that they all were done with being studio musicians. They can make tons of money. They can go out on other people's tours and be employees forever, but they're done with that. And they wanted to be in a band. They wanted to make a real band. And that spoke to me because I'm a band person.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah. I mean, you are the band person.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the leader of the band, and somebody who's always just been engaged in all the musicians around you. I mean, the queen of authenticity. And that's what I've always admired so much about you. Nothing's kind of getting past Annie. She wants to do the things that are right for her as an artist. And I've always so admired that about you. So you are so lucky then to have these guys mesh and melt with you, because that doesn't always happen. They can want to be in a band and you can want to be working with a band, but it doesn't always get that magical chemistry.
That's right. As people, you really have to get along in a pretty deep way, which rarely happens, that quick. And it really happened with all of us. So we started working on the demos, and pretty soon we had a dozen. It took us about a year and a half, close to 2 years, not solid, but coming together for a week at a time whenever we could to get all these songs together. But when we did, we used all but one of them that we'd written.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I would imagine those are almost like mini bursts of creative energy.
Yeah.
Where then you're ready to get back. You're probably saying, you know what, I can't wait to get back with these guys, rather than that sort of arduous process of being in a studio and being like, when the hell are we going to get out of this place?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right.
There was none of that. In fact, it was really cool to get to hang out with them, not only for music, but just to hang out. And there's one guy, our drummer, Sean Lane, is from Seattle. And so there's like a mixture of different people. Some of them are from Nashville, our bass players from New York. So just a mix, it worked really well.
Yeah. Really great synergy. And you can tell. I want to talk about some of the tracks from the record too. This is now, when I first heard that track, for me as a listener, as a fan, I mean, that was like a purging track, almost like a letting go of the past, A Ruler of the Night, a favorite of mine, Reign of Hell, Stranger in a Strange Land, I think is storytelling on the record at its finest. Talk to me about your writing on this record, because again, I mentioned it's a storytelling record, and that's what I really love about it, because I feel
Yeah.
like it's not a concept record, but I feel like there's like every song is this vignette that kind of has almost its own little mini movie or something.
Yeah. Well, that's what I loved so much about being the sole lyricist is I got a chance to really get into that, you know. That's my great love is words, and always has been. I've always been inspired by other lyricists like Bernie Taupin and Paul Simon and just people, and Joni Mitchell. I mean, people that really take a lot of time and care with their lyrics. Um, yeah, so it's been really great to have the rest of the guys in Tripsitter trust me and believe in me and say, yeah, you write the lyrics, we'll come up with the music, you know. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much how it went.
Rusty Robots also.
Yeah.
Another favorite of mine too, because the record has such an introspective look, but yet there's still those really hard, passionate moments in the record, and especially those edgy, amazing, like beating you over the head and Wilson vocals that we love about you so much, that give us that strength and power. You know, it's kind of all encompassed in this
Yeah.
record. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of different places that it goes.
Yeah, sonically, it wasn't really what I expected when I started to listen, and then sonically, it shocked me and surprised me. One of my favorite records of the year, I think, so far, because, and I never say best of, or I'm not a best of person. I think it's what you love. But I look back on the year, usually in November, and I start to think of records I've loved for the year, and this for
Right.
me is definitely one of my favorite, in my top 10 favorite records of the year. There's no doubt
Oh,
about that.
that's incredible. Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
love everything about putting the record together too, because the cover, it's literally like this whole project, the artwork and the cover. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, my previous album, Fierce Bliss, we had cover art done by Roger Dean, who, as you know, used to do cover art for Yes and those early prog bands. And it was a piece of art. And I thought, well, we're going to put out vinyl. So why not give people something to hold in their hands and look at while they're really checking out the music in an artistic
We
way?
love that. We miss
And
that.
so,
We love that. That
yeah,
whole
so
experience of feeling those records, that music.
yeah, so we did that again. And but after Roger Dean, who do you call? I mean, because
Right.
and so we called Hypnosis, the guys that did the Dark Side of the Moon cover and Houses of the Holy and those iconic covers of that era that are true pieces of art in their own right. And they came up with the big green door on the beach thing, which I think is really cool.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love everything about it. I think it's a really good time to be Ann Wilson. I think there's
Yeah.
that feeling of freedom, of every artist loving and wanting to work with you. And you can kind of pick and choose who you want to work with. I mean, I did Zooms with the guys from Disturbed, 3 of them, when Divisive came out, and every single member, the first thing they said to me, did you know we worked with Ann Wilson? I had Dan Donegan, I had David Draymond, I had Mike Wengren. We worked with Ann Wilson. Do you know how incredible it was to work with Ann Wilson? It's such a good time
Wow.
for you, I think,
Yeah.
because there's so much. I mean, there's ownership, gratitude, appreciation of others. And you have to kind of feel that when you're making art and making music.
Yes, I think you do
Yeah.
in order to, because we're basically artists, but we're also entertainers. So we really want to have a connection with our listeners and their minds. So yeah, just all the different kinds of stuff that I'm being allowed to do right now. I think, I kind of joke with myself and I say, well, you stick around long enough, just about anything can happen.
That's not really true, though. I mean, that's a great way to say it. And you're a very humble artist and always have been. But no, people want to work. People want to be around the GOAT. What you have, they feel kind of translates to them a little bit. I mean, you
Yeah.
and David on Don't Tell Me is
Yeah.
my goodness. I mean, that passion and that feeling. Oh man, between the two of you, were you guys in the same room together? Were you separate when you did that? When you did that duet?
Yeah, I went into the studio and his vocal was mostly there. And then I did mine. And then I think we touched it up more together. And then when we did the video, we did one video and down in Miami, and then the Disturbed guys didn't like it that much, so we made another one just recently. And that one, I got to actually go to the same director's house in Topanga Canyon who had done the Sounds of Silence video,
Wow.
and sit in the same chair in the same room that David had sat in when he sang Sounds of Silence.
Wow.
So I thought, wow, I was kind of starstruck by that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. And I mean, in every young band, I'm very lucky at WDHA. We spend like 50 years of music, and we're a live and local radio station. We're all about community. We're all about the fans. We're all about everything that really encompasses rock and roll. I do a show on Fridays called Queens of Noise, not because I'm trying to pigeonhole women into an hour. We play so much female based rock and roll, but I want to show people you can play a full hour of female artists and still be the #1 rated station, in
Totally,
your,
yeah.
and people are not going to be like, oh, you're playing 4 women in an hour, blah, 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 all that crap I had to hear when I first got in the industry, which
Yeah,
is total bullshit and not true.
I
So
remember.
yeah, you guys, I mean, if there
Yeah.
was a Heart record in, then there wasn't going to be, Pretenders record. And I mean, it was just all crazy,
Or
crazy
if there
crap.
was if there was a Susie Quattro record, then there wouldn't be a Heart record.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Another GOAT who definitely deserves to get certainly more than she's gotten. Susie, how she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is beyond
Totally.
me.
Yeah.
First female rock record I
What?
think I ever bought as a kid. I looked at it and I said, "My God!" I didn't even hear the music yet, and I looked at the record and I was just like, Daddy, I think I want that one. Like it was
Yeah.
Susie Quattro. There was just
Yeah.
everything about her. But my point being, I think you've been an escalator for people. There are people that have broken doors down, and then there are people that are escalators for people. And you have definitely been somebody who's an escalator, who you've allowed the women, I think, to rise a little bit quicker than they normally have. So I mean, your impact is so felt, whether it's with women in music or men in music, the guys in Disturbed, or the love and respect that Chris Cornell had for you and Nancy, and just was so, I have to get them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I have to be the inductor. So your impact is just so incredibly felt. And I think that has to also be all encompassing for you in the journey that you're still on. I mean, and still going strong. When I think of Anne, trying to think of some words, I think of you as effortless, magical, and relevant.
Wow, those are all good. Those are all good.
Is that good? Is
Thank
that
you.
good
Thank
enough? Is
you.
that good? No, and
Yeah.
I say those from the heart because I watch you sing, and it's just effortless, the emotion and your vocals, obviously. And there's just something that we still feel that's so magical, and you're as relevant as ever.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, that's the whole
So
idea
how
of
do we
being,
all do this, Anne? Help us here. How do we all stay as relevant in life as ever?
I have no answer for that.
I guess you kind of have to be Ann Wilson, but like I've had, the young bands like Plush, I've had, Mariah Formica, her big thing was to meet you at the Pennsylvania show. And I remember she was so excited that you were the person that she wanted to meet the most. And I see that inspiration, and I just don't know where rock music would be without people that still have inspired and are inspiring people to be able to continue to do that.
Right. Yeah. No, it takes, I think it takes people who can dig in and stay the course.
And what I've always admired about you too is, yeah, you're a humble, beautiful soul, but you're also a tough lady.
Yeah.
And you've always been one of those people that was like, you know what, listen, you guys think we should be going left, but you know what, we think we should be going right. I think we should be going in this direction, and we're gonna fight to be able to do that. I also want to make sure that we get in before we finish that Friday, November 24th, the Ann Wilson and Tripsitter live in concert is going to be on PBS.
Yes,
You're going to
indeed.
be on over 100 PBS stations, taped in Nashville, I believe, at the Brooklyn Bowl.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I saw some clips, mind-blowing clips, the little teaser clips that we've gotten so far. So that's super, super exciting.
Yeah, we're happy about that one. Yeah.
And I hope we get another date. We just had you here in New Jersey at the Bergen Pack in Englewood not too long ago.
That's right.
Hoping that we get you back for another date in 2024, because that show was just incredible. Everybody was like completely blown away. We gave away tickets on WDHA and people were like, oh my God, she's got to come back. She's got to come back. And we have some hard dates at the end of the year and New Year's Eve in Seattle.
Yes, we do. We have 2 other dates right before that too.
Yeah.
One in California and one in Palm Springs, I believe.
Yeah. Those are the dates. Yeah, I was looking those up.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve is always such a sentimental time too. You kind of reflect on the year, you're reflecting on what could be coming, and then you guys are going to be back in Seattle. That's going to be emotional.
Yeah. In fact, in 1980, I think it was, we played in Seattle on New Year's Eve, and it was really quite a night. So it's like returning to do that again, sort of.
Oh, wow. That's
At
amazing.
the Climate Pledge Arena.
Oh, wow. That is just amazing. And what a pleasure for me. My goodness, what a great way to spend my afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
I'm with
really
my
cool.
girl. Oh my gosh. I'm with my girl, the woman who has been in my life for, I don't know, 50 years. You've been in my life for 50 years.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 3 years.
We'll go back. We'll just say 3 years. But yeah, I mean, the soundtrack of my life and the soundtrack of the lives of so many. Ann and Tripsitter, this amazing record, Another Door. Congratulations on another incredible, beautiful piece of music.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
And I've had such a great time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been really great.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway.